What's going on YouTube? I just want to make a quick video on basically my review on these Yz85 cylinders compared to the OEM cylinders. I have two OEM cylinders on that end, these three Yz85 cylinders. And I'm just gonna go through like basically my thoughts on how the Yz85 perform, how they last, the power compared to the OEM cylinder. Okay, starting off with, I think this was the first one I tried out. First cylinder I rebuilt on this here 2009 Yz85. Let me see what's hanging on the back. I put that new secret on here, it was good, that pink. This is the first cylinder I tried on that one. I don't know, this is like, was it this year? The beginning of this year, 2021. And I mean, it ran decent. I did notice some imperfections when I took it out the packaging. Like, you can see how those corners aren't, like, it's not fully rounded off, like right there. It has little points right there and there. And little, like, you just have grooves in certain areas. And I also noticed the coloring on the piston is like a dull gray. I wasn't too much a fan of that. My biggest or my least favorite thing what I noticed when I got this cylinder was these grooves inside the port. And I'm wondering, like, why is some grooves in there like that? Is that to add like extra? I don't know what they planning on doing like that. It looked like it got sawed in half and put back together. But yeah, those grooves, I don't know why they put those in there. If you ever get a Yz85 cylinder, you might notice some of those in there. And the specs are just a little off on these cylinders. As far as porting, the specs are quite off on the porting. And I'll show you the difference on these ones compared to the OEM ones. Okay. Now, what is this one? I think this is the second one. Hold on. Okay, no, yeah, this is the second one. This one is the second one. I ran on the 09 again. And the gaskets they send you is like way too big. They send you the head gaskets are like super thick compared to the OEM ones. They're like way too thick. And if you use those gaskets, they're gonna melt down and cause coolant to start leaking inside the cylinder. And that caused plenty of vibration in the top end when I use those gaskets. So that's another thing. I noticed a difference too, but I don't know why I didn't order OEM ones. Now this one also has the grooves in the side, but it doesn't have it down the middle. Now the exhaust bridge looks a lot thinner compared to the first batch of Yz85 I had, or first batch I used. I shouldn't even. Now that's like $300 down the drain, pretty much. I just thought about. As opposed to buying the OEM one, they want you to keep going and buying Yz85, so you feel like, oh, it's worth it because it runs. But the whole time it's only gonna run for like a month or so, and then you gonna have to buy another one because just something about them just, I don't know, they just go out. I think like they don't use the right material. Like the material is supposed to expand once it gets hot. You know, everything when it gets hot, it expands. And once it cools down, it's supposed to contract back to its regular size. These ones, I feel like once they get hot and reach a certain temperature, they do not recontract back to their regular size. Like you just notice like it start rattling inside the cylinder, the piston. You just hear a bunch of piston slap, or you feel it. You'll rev the bike and you feel the whole bike just vibrating super hard. This is the most recent batch I used on the 2012. It ran pretty good. It lasted a minute. I'd say about 4 or 5 months. Surprised me how long it lasts. I won't be buying another one of these for sure. Most people, when they have project bikes, they just want to put something together real quick. It did run. I'll give it that. It had plenty of power. I'll also give it that it did have plenty of power. As you can see in the videos I post, it can really, I can really a decent mile with the cylinder on there. But the main thing that's off with the cylinder is the porting. If you look inside those ports, it's kind of dark. It's like way smaller. The inside of the port, the exhaust port, is super tiny. And then the corner of the port is supposed to be hovering above those other ports. And it's kind of just like next to it. It's not really hovered over the port. As the OEM cylinder, the exhaust port is much larger, and the corner of the port hovers over the smaller port below it, as you can see. And this isn't a stock size cylinder. This is a bore over or so. It's like a 49.50 cylinder. And yeah, this one ran pretty good. I should have just left the piston. Nothing was wrong with it. I could have just left it how it was, really, because it still had good compression. You know, it ran fine, but the bottom end just like went. The cylinder still looked like it was in good shape. The piston didn't have many hours on it. The only thing that went was the rod bearing. Even the crankshaft was still good, but the rod bearing went out due to lack of maintenance. I should have been, you know, you got to keep track of that. So what I'm gonna do with this cylinder, I'm gonna just keep it and send it out to probably Power Seal USA. Get it re-nickel plated, honed and nickel plated. That's gonna cost a decent amount. It's probably almost the cost of a new cylinder. I should just buy a new one, but I'll probably use this on a bike in the future if I come across another Yz85. So I low-key like them bikes. They're pretty fun. Not low-key, high-key. Any 85 is fun. The RM, Suzuki, you know, KTM, and they all pack a decent amount of power for the size of it. You know, you won't be disappointed buying an 85. Now on to the most recent one I just bought. Bought this one on partzilla.com. It's for a 2012 Yz85. Now they did a great job with nickel plating the cylinder. Very shiny. They put nice cross hatches inside the cylinder, as you can see. They did a decent job with porting the exhaust port, but I did notice like a little bit of nicks down in the corner of the exhaust port. So I just took a file and just filed it down, smoothing it out so I don't have any chips when the bike is running, because I don't want that, you know, all that money going down the drain. Because I will be hitting them up like, yeah, this cylinder, everything was in spec. You know, I want to see if I can maybe, you know, I don't want to jinx it, knock on wood. But yeah, it should be good. That exhaust bridge is like super thin though, I noticed on this one compared to the 09 one, the overboard. Sorry, I'm recording off my phone. It's kind of, if it's a little shaky, but yeah, it's not too bad. It should be good. I ordered some rings, a Wisco piston with this OEM cylinder, so it should run pretty fine. Should have plenty of power. I ordered some OEM gaskets, got those coming. Both the top end gasket, or the head gaskets, and the base gasket. And also it has the, you know, the rings, everything. I had to order another set of rings because I got the filing on them thinking that they're out of spec the whole time. The piston clearance for a Yz85 is just super small. The tolerances is just way smaller than the bigger size piston. I thought it was like 12 thousandths of an inch, but that was like for a whole another bike. That's like for maybe like a 125 or something. But yeah, so I just ordered another set of rings. I didn't really follow it much, but I just don't want to take the chance. I did check it with a feeler gauge to make sure it's still in spec. It is like 4 thousandths to 7 thousandths of an inch for a Yz85 piston ring. But I just ordered OEM ones just to be sure. I'll have some backup ones. Might as well just have them for backup, but also just to make sure I didn't take it too out of spec. But yeah, my thing on these Niche cylinders is just stick with the OEM one. Don't go buy no Chinese one, because you know it may seem like you're getting a great deal. Like, oh yeah, I can get my bike running for under $200. Oh yeah, that sounds like a bet. And then next thing you know, you riding down the road and your bike just start rattling, feeling funny. Whole bike just shivering, shaking. you just take it apart, and it doesn't look out of spec. They don't look out of spec, but I think they just expand and don't contract back to their normal size like an OEM cylinder, because they use some different material or something. But yeah, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. I want to get a GoPro or something. Black Friday's right around the corner. It's November 23rd. I'm like, damn, where can I get a GoPro at? I'm gonna look it up. Attach it, get a little helmet attachment. Start making videos like me riding around the neighborhood, just different areas in the parking lot, practicing my wheelies. I just want to, move up, get more into it. I don't want to just, if I'm gonna do it, I might as well just fully do it instead of half doing it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe attract more attention and show people, maybe give tutorials on how to wheelie, because I'm still learning a lot of stuff, but I'm pretty decent for where I'm at now. Off and on the bikes, I haven't really had a chance to fully just practice, because I always have to replace cylinders, as you can see, and I just leave it to the side for a while, and I don't get back to it for like a few months, and then I get back rusty. So it's like, yeah, you just got to stay on top of it, make sure you're maintaining your bikes, change the oil, spark plugs, make sure it always has good compression, make sure your brake pads are in shape, make sure they have plenty of brake material on it. You're mixing the right oil in your gas. I do 42-to-1. That means 4 ounces. No, I said 42. What am I saying? 32-to-1. Sorry about that. 32-to-1. That means 4 ounces to 1 gallon of gas. That runs pretty good for me. Sometimes it gets a little smoky. If it does, I just go down a little bit, maybe like 3.5 ounces, like 3.5 ounces or 3 ounces. But usually I don't have a problem with bogging issues when I run 32-to-1. It runs pretty good. I like to keep the cylinder nice and lubricated with a higher, oil velocity. But thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more uploads, and I'll see you guys next time.